Hello, hello, Josie here. Are you ready for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And are you sure? Okay, here we go. So guess what, y'all? Guess what? Sugar really is the devil. Sugar really is the devil. Here is an everyday tip that I want you to take with you. Guard your health. Guard your intake. Enjoy certain pleasures, but don't go too deep, because if you do, you may not be able to climb out of it. Okay? I just came home and I just had some dinner, and Spirit gave me, in a lot of ways, an ultimatum. Not really an ultimatum, but he basically said, Josie, you have a choice. You have a choice. You can stop at this place or whatever, and you can get you some dessert or something sweet or whatever, or you can choose to not do so. It's your choice. But there are consequences. Either way, there are going to be consequences, and or there's going to be a blessing that comes from it. Okay? So the consequence is you stopping at something sweet that's more sugar in your system, that's more carbs in your system than you need. It's at a late time in the evening, which means this is going to sit in your stomach, and you're going to probably have difficulties going to sleep, and you're not going to feel too good waking up tomorrow. Or you can choose to not have something sweet, right? And you can enjoy the meal that you're going to be ingesting. And then, guess what? You're going to have the right foods in your system that's going to sustain you and drive you and help you to basically keep doing your thing. Now, I decided to not stop and get the sugar, to get the sweet. I decided to go ahead and enjoy the dinner. And then on my way home, I was driving down the street. You have a lot of wicked people that are engaged in some crazy behavior that can not only damage them or hurt them, but hurt and harm you. So on the way home, it's late at night, I'm driving down this street, and this guy is at his car door. And what does he do? He sees my lights, but he decides to swing the door open, right? Last minute. So if I did not see him, I could have possibly ran into him and or his car door. Danger number one. I'm driving down my street. I look in the center of the street, the middle of the street, and there's somebody walking with a cane in the center of the street, right? Now, it's dark in this area. There's not a lot of street lights, and you can't see certain areas as well. So, if I was not going to be pulling into my driveway, which was way before I would have met up with this guy walking with the cane, guess what would have happened? If I was not paying attention, more than likely, what would end up happening is I would have gotten real up close on him, and there possibly would have been a danger and or an altercation that could have happened where I could have possibly ran into that guy. I don't want to do that. But the question is, why are you walking in the middle of the street at night where there's not a lot of light going on, and you're walking with a cane, and you're endangering yourself and you're endangering somebody else, right? Paying attention. Paying attention. How important is it for you to pay attention in life? Very important. You remember that song? If you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you need to wake up and pay attention. If you want to avoid the devil, if you want to avoid the devil's traps, if you want to have sustain in your life, livelihood, health, well-being, then you're going to need to wake up and pay attention. Looking at history, looking at family history, illnesses, ailments, things that can happen and occur when you don't do the right things when it comes to taking care of your vessel. The foods that you're ingesting into your vessel. Not only the foods that you're ingesting into your vessel, but the beverages that you're ingesting as well too. The coffees, the teas, the sodas, the sugar, all that stuff. You're no longer in your teens anymore, and even if you are in your teens, that is something that I would not recommend that they ingest, period. Water, water, water. Next thing, Father's Day is coming up. It's right around the corner, right? Well, I want to share a story about my father. I want to share with you something that my father did to me years ago. I mentioned earlier that your parents have a cord that's attached to you. And if you do not believe in this, then I don't know what to tell you. But your parents have a cord that's attached to you. They can connect to you, connect to your mind, connect to your thoughts, and they can interject themselves into your thoughts. And it's telepathy, that's what it's called. If you have not experienced that, then you may not know what I'm talking about, but this is real. This is real. This is real. Telepathy. So imagine your parent coming into your thoughts to find out things that you like, things that you enjoy, things that bring you pleasure, and then doing everything that they could to basically make that fail. You know, years ago, I had someone that I would play guitar with, and he would come over on the weekends usually, and we'd play music and so on and so forth. And he would bring his guitar amp, and he had a bigger guitar amp than me. He had a Fender amp, 2x12 cab, you know? And I remember I was moving this cab in my room, and, you know, it had Berber carpet. The wheels on this cab were a nice size. I don't know how this happened, but I was moving the cab, moving the amp, and I don't know if it fell over or if it bumped into something, but it busted a tube. It busted the tube, right? So that's money that had to go out. So, unfortunately, I broke my friend's amp. You know, and he wasn't tripping about it, but I wondered why did that happen, and I was just stymied for, you know, like the entire evening. I was actually bummed out and concerned and whatnot and so on and so forth, and I was worried about it. That was my dad. My dad did that. Next thing that my dad did, when we went on vacation, we were visiting someone in Atlanta, someone that used to be a neighbor across the street. Well, this neighbor was homophobic, and I had not come out to my dad yet. He did not know. I was like 16 years old, something like that. 15 years old probably. And my dad told him certain things that I was doing and or was interested in, things that I did not share with him and or anybody. And so it had me wondering, how did he know? How did he know about that? But he told this person that was extremely homophobic, and we were staying the night at this person's house. When I walked into this guy's house, this guy basically got in my face, got big, bold, and bad. I'm like 14, 15 years old. Got big, bold, and bad with me, right? And said, "You're not going to have any of that stuff in here. You understand me?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Dad, what is he talking about?" And my dad actually had to like step in front of him and tell him to like chill out. No, chill out. So basically, he was telling him things about me that he was not aware of unless he had some cord or was doing some kind of telepathy or interjecting himself into my thoughts and or figuring out what was going on with me and whatnot. Last thing I'm going to share with you at this time for Father's Day, something about my father. I got paid from my job at the grocery store. I was really excited because I had plans for that money. It wasn't a lot, but I had plans for it, and I was excited about it. And I had gotten the check cashed, and I had the cash in my wallet. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I saw my dad looking in my room. He had just basically was leaving my room, like as he came in. And the next morning I woke up, my wallet was not in the drawer where I put it. He didn't know I put my wallet in the drawer. I don't know how he knew that. It was not in the drawer where I had it, where I had put it, and I know I had put it there. I was very aware of this. My wallet ended up being underneath my vehicle outside, and all the cash in it was gone. He took my money. He took my money. And now that I've shared that with you, when I mentioned something about it, this person, my dad, looked at me and said, "How do you know? How do you know it was stolen? How do you know it was stolen?" As if he knew exactly what he had done. Just wanted to share that with you. Happy Father's Day.